don't worry about the million idea, this is $1 billion idea. And that essentially 3-second hook just took us. And we went from an app that was struggling to do acquisition to something like 10,000 downloads overnight. The app actually broke. From there, we went on to work for a unicorn, managing a team of 100 people. So we helped the company raise quite a few million, which was really exciting. It was my first ever viral exposure to TikTok, especially in Neat. We are always pushing to kind of think, okay, what's the big idea? How do we do that? How do I go out tomorrow morning and film that or activate that without spending thousands?
Welcome to Kasa Connect. Together we're exploring the journeys of entrepreneurs, creatives and change makers shaping the future. From unicorn startup to guilt-free candy brand, I'm so excited to speak to Jordan today on today's episode of Kasa Connect. Give me like a 3-sentence pitch, why shall we choose Neat Sweets over any other candy?
Sure thing. So, Neat Sweets, we basically prove life can be sweet enough without the added sugar. We're all about low sugar or natural candy. We taste like candy should. We're all about your childhood favorites without the rubbish.
Amazing. I completely love that. And this is not your first startup that you've worked on. This is not your first experience. How did your entrepreneurial journey begin? And tell us more about the other companies you've worked on.
Sure. It started a long time ago, working, I think, where most of us started in corporate, actually for a large FMCG beer brand. Saw the light with their venture capitalist startup division. Fell in love with the world of startups. Jumped into my own e-commerce businesses. Most of them failed. Learned the hard way.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I've always been involved around startups, been in the tech world, physical goods, consumer goods.
Tell me more about the e-commerce business you ran and why do you think it didn't work out?
Good questions. There's a few of them, but I think the main reason was probably a personal learning. I spread my attention too thin. So rather than starting one e-commerce business, I started 3. We managed to sell one small one of the businesses, but I just couldn't dive into the depth of detail I needed, I guess. And I was very, very young, 22 or something at the time. So
and I'm sure you've learned a lot. What was the biggest learning?
Exactly that. So attention. Still today I'm involved in multiple projects. However, after doing it now for 10, 15 years, I understand how to split my time and my focus and really. When we're on Neat Sweets, it's 100% on Neat Sweets.
So when you moved from e-commerce, what was the next step?
Interesting fintech. I always thought if you can market an app, you can market anything. It's an aggressive space to be in.
I love it. And so you started it yourself?
No, I started working with a founder. So I wanted to, at that stage I was pretty young. I've been on it by myself for quite some time. And I wanted to learn from experienced founders who were raising capital, predominantly to learn how to raise capital as well.
Okay, that's a smart move. And how long were you on that project for and what was your learnings from that?
That was actually about 2.5 years. We helped the company raise quite a few million, which was really exciting. It was my first ever viral exposure to TikTok, which I learned a lot about at that time. But it also kind of catapulted me into my real kind of corporate / startup career. From there I went on to work for a unicorn, managing a team of 100 people in Berlin, which is really exciting.
Okay. I want to talk about the unicorn, but first I want to know about a TikTok that went viral and then why you think it went viral.
Yeah, okay. So it was actually at the time when Fintech was going kind of viral on social media. We saw at an early stage, we're an American-based Fintech based in Amsterdam, the team was here. So we were essentially always ahead of the trends. We could see stuff tracking in the morning and we'd wake up, something tracked overnight. We'd wake up early in the morning, prep that content to go out. So very reactive. Yeah. Their strategy was to change the team from a marketing team to a media team, high volumes of content, activating what we would see as early signals for virality. The campaign was my $1 million idea, which was people telling them why their business was going to make $1 million. We came in with an American founder at the time, very aggressive. And we said, don't worry about the $1 million idea, this is $1 billion idea. And that essentially 3-second hook just took us. And we went from an app that was struggling to do acquisition to something like 10,000 downloads overnight. The app actually broke.
Oh, wow.
Complete virality, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views.
And you think it's just that one hook, that one thing that was different about what you said. I love that.
Yeah. And that started my passion for kind of,
The simple things can really make you viral. And then after that, you were at a unicorn company, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about how it was working for a $1 billion company.
Crazy. I mean, I went from managing a team of like 3 people, of which half were interns, to managing 100 almost full-time employees across 5 markets.
What do you think are the differences in skills that you needed to kind of learn or acquire to be managing more people?
Yeah, I said I learned most of those when I started the job. But definitely you kind of have to, it's delegation. You hear it a lot from, very successful leaders. Delegation is key because as someone that's always been in the startup world, especially, micro startups, you're always involved in every project. And I'm someone that's very passionate about the work that we put out. And, I love everything that we do.
Let's go back to Neat Sweet. Yep. So you've got a sour one, you've got a sweet one, and you've got a new one, the cola flavor.
Fizzy cola bottles, Cola.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh, it's a hard question. Honestly, I'm still indecisive between the cola and the sour citrus.
Yeah.
At the moment, because this is our new little baby, my love does go to it because it's been a labor of love. And we started with these two. They kind of were the original products that we launched, and we spent the 3 years getting right, and it's always been the dream child. But as soon as we unlocked these, we kind of came straight out with fizzy cola bottles. And
how did you decide that this was going to be the next one? What was involved in that decision-making process? Because I'm sure people must have come with different ideas. You were working with 3 different co-founders.
Yeah, I think that's one of the harder things with co-founders is we've all got very strong opinions. And when it comes to candy, it's all about nostalgia, right? So we're trying to unlock your childhood favorites and just make them better. So obviously, I'm a bit younger than my co-founders. I won't call any of them out, but my maybe nostalgic ideas are slightly different to theirs. But we came with cola because it's just a household favorite. Everyone loves a fizzy cola bottle.
I know that you're trying to differentiate yourself by being fully guilt-free, but the confectionery market is pretty competitive. Who would you say are your competitors, and how are you kind of fighting them?
We actually, in a bit of a confident or cocky way, you might say, we don't see we have direct competitors.
Okay.
The reason being is we are good across the board, right? And it's actually one of the reasons we entered the market. When we looked at competitors, the landscape, we noticed that a lot of the confectionery products were really good at, say, one thing, vegan, zero sugar, but they weren't able to boast a fully clean label. And that's something we set out with the objection to do. And secondly, the ones that were really good lacked on the taste. Yeah. And for us, candy needs to taste like candy, right? Otherwise, where's the fun in it?
So what's the craziest flavor idea you've come up with that you've pitched to your team?
It's not the craziest, but it's more of so it's super, super sour. I would like to have on the sour, low sugar candies or sour candies.
Okay, like a warhead kind of toxic waste
blow your
kind
head
of
off kind of thing. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, my next one was, are you a sour, sweet kind of person?
Sour all day.
Sour. And if Neat Sweets was a celebrity, who do you think it would be?
Oh, that's a hard question because I know I'm a marketeer, but I'm not really a celebrity person. Okay. I think you have to go Ed Sheeran just because of the orange palettes. Everyone loves Ed Sheeran as well.
And dream collaboration for Needs.
Yeah, it's got to be Grace Beverly and Shuggies. Yes. It's been Meg, my marketing manager, will shout this one. From the day she started, I've been on about Grace Beverly and Shuggies. Love what they've done.
I love what they do. Go-to snack when you're not eating Neat Sweets.
Good question. Really put me on the spot here. Go-to snack. I'm South African. Okay. So we have a product called biltong. And whenever I get my hands on good biltong, I always tend to go
I need to try that. I've actually
You should. It's brilliant. So love-hate.
Oh, yeah.
They're like Marmite. But
So what's a myth about founders that you think people romanticize?
It's a shame my co-founder Mark's not here because he'll sing this from he actually did a LinkedIn post. You should check it out. But it's all sunshine and roses. Okay. I think that's a culture founders have built because we like to make it look sexy and shiny and fun. But it's a lot of dark days. Even though you have 4 partners, it's still pretty lonely. It can be tough. But on the other hand, founders, generally the ones I know, are a bit crazy in the fact that we kind of live for the dark days because it makes the good days even better. And
what motivates you to continue?
Oh, it's a good question. Two parts. I'm just motivated by creating great stuff. I just love it. Like when I saw someone walking down the street with Nisha for the first time, it's like heartbroken, done, game over. I could almost give up my career there and then. I'm really passionate about what the team's done. Second side is, I'm proud of what my parents achieved. They brought us here from South Africa and they did it in their own ways, their own challenges, and they came over it. So for me, to kind of set off on my own part, they were very corporate, by the way. So
I was just going to ask, that was my next question.
Yeah, brother's very corporate. I'm a bit the dark horse in that scenario. But it's to be passionate about what you do.
I love that. When you see family members or other people working hard and, you know, going through tough times, it helps you become resilient. And that was also the purpose of Kasa Connect. I think meeting entrepreneurs who were very honest about their journey, that it's not all roses, made me feel like kind of continuing during my hard days when I felt like giving up.
Exactly.
Have you ever felt like giving up?
Oh, every Monday morning, I think. No, yeah, I do. Listen, I'm involved in a lot of projects. I think it's almost like a weakness to my strength is I struggle to say no. So sometimes it's more like when I say, I believe in honesty, I believe in kind of the old tendencies and, you know, delivering what you promise. So when I say yes to people, I can't not say no. So I have to deliver. And that can kind of drive you to the darker days, because when you can't deliver or you're spread too thin, you're kind of breaking your promise to someone. So for me, that's when I do get into the...
I love that. No, I definitely believe in, like, you know, sticking to your word. And are you still most passionate about marketing in all that you do? Is that still your kind of sweet spot?
Yeah, it is. I'd say, I guess you could say I was born naturally a salesperson. But I believe both sit hand in hand. And I actually believe the way the world is going, marketing, sales, foundership, the lines are becoming very blurred. I love marketing, but it's definitely encompassing more of a 360 role.
I wanted to know more tips on how to market a consumer goods product, because, you know, you've got influencer marketing now, product marketing, you've got so many different channels, TikTok, YouTube. It's so hard to do everything. So do you have any kind of tips or advice of what you see working and not working?
Yeah, maybe if you know the answer, you could tell me. No, I think for me, the ethos that we play along, be it at Need Sweets or in the companies I consult or anything I'm involved in, is test small, learn, scale. Gone, I believe, are the days of dropping all your marketing budget in one area and hoping it's going to hit. If you look at social online, it's so up, down. What worked today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow, and what works tomorrow doesn't mean it's going to work, you know, in a few days' time. So really, it's keep it fast, keep it lean, keep it granular. And, you know, you even see some of the cornerstone FMCG brands of today, right? The ones that are killing it, like, you know, Perfect 10, for example, they're still operating in a real growth mentality approach, right? They're not always turning up with massive stands. They're turning up guerrilla style. And I think this is a real testament to where we have to be as marketeers today. It's very reactive, very much on your toes.
And where do you see Neat Sweets going in the next couple of years?
World domination.
Good answer.
Where do I see Neat Sweets going? For us, our vision is really to become a household brand in the UK.
So right now you're primarily just focusing on the UK?
No, I say that. We're already live in like quite a bit in Europe. We're about 1,000 stores across Europe. We are moving to Canada. We've got conversations in Emirates. We're kind of going global. You know, you go back to talking about competitors. Obviously, Candy Kittens is very much on our radar, and we were fortunate enough to meet the guys in Cologne. Great founders. You know, really hats off to what they've done for an industry that was previously not disrupted, right, and controlled by massive brands. They've come in, they've cut a segment. They're a household brand now, and, you know, really, really, really hats off to them. And, you know, they're in our sights, and we like to have a big brand to chase.
I love that. And what do you think has the most impact for you? Is it being on the supermarket shelves? Is it doing pop-ups? What's helping you right now?
You're going to sort of fight between me and the founders here. Me being a digital marketeer, I think personally, you know, TikTok Shop, TikTok, social commerce, it's where my passion lies. So really the ability to reach far and wide. The problem with that is you lose the control of your brand, especially the way social commerce is going with affiliates and TikTok Shop. The second side of that is activating brand. I think we just need to focus brand, you know, until everyone knows who we are. However, I do think there's a narrative to be on shop shelves. And, you know, at Neat, our strategies are pretty 361. We're taking on a lot, and I think it's the right one.
Do you think founder-led marketing is really important nowadays?
It is. There's
a whole debate, because some people are like, I don't want to put my face to the brand because, you know, eventually if I want to sell the brand, it can't be like so heavily associated with myself. But then a lot of people are like, when I put my face and myself out there, people connect person to person, and that really has impact.
I think it is to a certain extent if you're comfortable as a founder.
Yeah.
I think that the one fundamental point is that not every founder is meant to be on the camera, right? Because they're not comfortable. They're better elsewhere. Yeah. And that's where you see either one lucky founder who runs a company themselves or a team of founders that got one or two that are comfortable, it works. But there are founders, and I've been involved in marketing, in the marketing space and agencies and consulting. I've met founders who are just completely uncomfortable with it. And I said, no, it's better not to do it.
Well, it's great news to have you, because the one reel that actually came on my For You page was you in Buckingham Palace.
Oh, yeah.
You were saying how, compared to, was it Haribo's?
Yeah, it was the Haribo. You're going to test me here. It was, if you ate Haribo every day for a year, you would fill up Buckingham Palace. Oh, which my marketing manager was here. I think it was 2 times.
Yeah.
Whereas if you ate neat sweets every day for a year, it was only 2%. So that's the hard thing, right?
That was good. It was good to see you on camera. The reel was trending.
Exactly.
That was good content.
Always trying to compare it to real life examples, because at the end of the day, one question we get a lot is like 2 grams of sugar per 50 gram bag. Is that a lot? Is that a little? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we're trying to do as a brand, is educate consumers on what's a lot and what's not a lot.
So what are some of the biggest marketing failures you've seen?
I've seen or I've been gone through. What I've gone through would definitely be, I think, the expectation it's going to work. Generally, this is when it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So again, that goes back to my point earlier, like start small, test the data, then scale.
Do you think the marketing content that's like planned and trending does better, or the organic, authentic content?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get killed here or shouted at from marketing gurus, but I don't think there's an answer. Okay. I think you can be as planned for something to fail and have something as random as something that popped up and you go, quickly, let's activate. For me, it's in the social content space, it's speed and time to market. And actually the way that content's going in short form video, it's almost better to react quicker, put out slightly less of a high quality piece, but to get onto that trend, get onto that wave.
Quantity, a little bit more quantity than quality.
Yeah, I mean, if you speak to TikTok, they're saying, it's going the other way. They want quality, obviously, because they want to build retention and loyalty rather than just scrolling. However, you still see it, right? So it's the brands that push out the volumes, and we see this with all the brands we work with and consult. And
how's it been different doing marketing for a unicorn versus a startup?
Money.
What about money?
Lots of money. So obviously at the unicorn,
you have lots of money at the unicorn, of course.
Yeah, the unicorn, we had huge budgets. I think the problem there is you almost lose the hunger. We had very strong founders, very, very experienced founders, and very hard founders, which I think you have to be. So they always had their finger on the pulse with what was going on. But if they took their finger off for a second, it's very easy to lose and become distracted, especially the more junior you get when you have that money, right? Rather than thinking, can I do it myself? Can I explore myself? I would just give it to an agency. The quality is not good. It's not my money. Yeah. So I think in a startup world, especially in NEAT, we are always pushing to kind of think, okay, what's the big idea? How do we do that? How do I go out tomorrow morning and film that or activate that without spending thousands? And then we could work from there.
I want to know more about how you landed this role at working at a unicorn. I mean, it's a very impressive thing to do. What set you apart?
Yeah, I think personally, it's just my hunger to succeed. Like I said earlier, passionate about what I do. I put the hours in. I'm a good talker, apparently. So, when I got in the room with those 2 founders, it was months of back and forth interviews, very tough interviews from 2 very, very experienced fintech founders, kind of intimidating guys. However, I also have a creative mind that I believe has the benefit from starting my own companies very early to not just look at marketing as an expense and acquisition, but actually a commercial driver and understanding how that fits into the company in a whole. I'll give you an example. In fintech, when you build super apps, there's normally a money-making vertical within that app. So rather than just marketing the whole app, my mind would think, how do we drive users towards the money-making end? And that's slightly different, I think.
And how did you land that role? Was it like LinkedIn, networking? If someone's looking to work with a startup, a unicorn in particular, what are the steps that they should take?
I think this is quite some time ago, then it was really understanding how to position yourself in terms of like LinkedIn SEO and page SEO. Nowadays, it's all about personal brand. I suck at it. I'm not the best at it. But my co-founder, Mark Lilly, is brilliant. And hats off to him. He does an outstanding job. And essentially, I think there's 2 elements to it. It's not being afraid to start and not being afraid to make a mistake or make a fool of yourself, because content's gone tomorrow, and consistency. So starting, working it out, and then just keep it going. And this is the way that you get your brand out there.
Yeah, we actually had someone on this podcast before talking all about personal branding, and I didn't actually realize how important it is. But especially nowadays when there's so much content to consume. It's just really important to have a strong personal brand.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Mark was actually recognized on a flight as one of the co-founders of Neat Sweets from LinkedIn. He's probably going to never let me down. I told that story now. But I mean, that's the fundamental story, right? We are literally a tiny, tiny brand. We were 6 months old in the market, and people are walking up to you on the street recognizing you through personal branding on LinkedIn. The proof's in the pudding right there.
And that ties in again with kind of founder-led marketing being important as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at Perfect Head again, I believe it was, they had that young intern, I forgot his name. He wasn't a founder, but he posted every day, and he's built his own personal brand through Perfect Head, obviously, and he built their brand in collaboration. Yeah. But I think it doesn't, I think founders out there that don't want to do it or are tied up or, whatever's going on in the background that doesn't allow them, you need to think creatively.
Because you work on multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an efficient way to work? Is it better to focus on one thing at one time? What do you think is kind of the formula that, I know it's different for everyone, that works for you and why?
Yeah, I start with what you just said there. It's completely different to everyone. I'm dyslexic. I've always have been. I'm not like a book smart, school smart kid. Actually, when I left school, they were like, good luck. And, I took a pretty decent corporate career and, but for me, my mind's wired in a way that I know if I spend 2 years on a singular project, I'm going to get bored. I see it all the time. When I started my first job, I used to get in trouble because I used to sell beer in a specific area to a specific type of client. After 6 months, I got bored and I started selling to global hotel chains and then closed the deal and they'd be like, we're not, it just, that's who I'm built to be. Yeah. So, if, let's say I stayed in the corporate world, my honest conversation to someone I worked for would be, listen, it's going to be detrimental to have me focusing on one thing. Either you should hire me for 2 or 3 days a week or 4 days a week, whatever it's going to be, and let me do something on the side or work for someone else because my mind is going to be refreshed by that. And I don't look at, listen, I love what I do. I wake up crazy early every day, excited to start the day. It's been a very long time since I've woken up and not wanted to get out of it. So I don't look at my projects as like different projects. I just look at it as life, one job, one passion, and I get to do it all.
That. You don't feel like you need to wear different caps when you're working on different
projects,
like Fintech versus Candy.
In fact, I think it all ebbs and flows. It all feeds into each other, For example, I consult a bunch of other food startups, and for one of the fintechs I consult, they just did an event. We actually put their product at the event, and they were the most popular stand at the event with the most leads due to this product pairing.
Yeah.
So I think
good synergies.
Well, it's good synergies if you want to see them.
Yeah.
If you don't, and because you're stuck in your box, you won't see them. And I think the beautiful thing about the world today is there's opportunity everywhere.
You're real creative.
I don't know. Thank you.
How do you manage work-life balance?
I don't. I don't work. For me, honestly, it sounds like I'm saying this, but I love what I do. Generally have I try and take Saturdays mostly off. My girlfriend would kill me now, by the way. So, and when I take holidays, I try to get as much time off. But
so you feel like work is fun for you, right? Work is enjoyment.
I'm building a candy brand. Like, what could be more fun? Right?
I feel you because running this cafe, that's the way I feel. All my friends, I always say, I don't feel like I work hard enough. They're like, just because you're enjoying what you do doesn't mean you're not working. Yeah. But I don't actually feel like I'm working.
Well, that's it. I live in Amsterdam, as I said earlier, and the Dutch culture is very much like, the day's closed. Yeah. We're going to have a beer. We're going to eat some bitterballs, which is a Dutch snack. I don't know if you know it.
I do.
And I'm taking calls like 10, 11 o'clock on a Friday night. And they're like, what are you doing? Why? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I'm speaking to a founder in America that's building like, I don't know, $1 billion snack brand or whatever, or a fintech. And I'm meeting cool and interesting people. And for me, it's just pure passion. It's pure fun. Okay. Love it. Yeah.
Love it. Love when the two blends.
Yeah, exactly. I'm unfortunate. I get it. It's not for everyone. And yeah, some people love, my mother, like I said, my mother's very corporate. She loves what she does. She works harder and longer than I do. And she's a lot older than I am. So, but she's, she works for people and she's passionate about it. I think if you can find that passion, no matter what it is, it doesn't need to be high earning. It doesn't need to be high intellectual. It just needs to be what gets you up in the morning. And I think that for all humans should be the priority because you don't work.
Do you enjoy working for yourself or do you prefer working for someone else? And the reason I ask this is because I do enjoy the flexibility of working for myself, but sometimes I just wish someone would tell me what to do because self-discipline is hard.
I have co-founders for that. They love to tell me what to do, especially being the younger one. I love working for myself. I think my accountant probably will argue with that because I'm highly disorganized and the admin side of it, I kind of just.
Oh my God, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I tend to ignore it. So I get a little slap on the wrist every now and again. But it's difficult. I also really enjoy working with people, right? So I think that's my biggest learning. Actually, could strikes the thought, when you say to me, what's your biggest learning from the past? I proactively never wanted to go back into being a startup founder by myself. I've done it. I've stupidly done it again. But I always look to find really, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
And it's a lonely journey.
It's lonely. And it's also like, I'm not good at everything.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm not lying to anyone or myself. So, if I can have someone that I don't necessarily need to get along with and be best mates with them, but if we can sit and we can ideate and create amazingly cool stuff, it's way more fun.
Would you ever get a friend as a co-founder, or have you before?
I have. Didn't go so well. Yeah.
What was the learning from that?
Pick your founders right. Just because they're a friend doesn't mean they're the right people.
Okay.
I've also gone into business. My family's worked out pretty well. You've got to. I think. Listen, I'm not saying it's him, them, me, who, whatever. Right? They were all wrong at the end of the day. But you've got to have two things: is when you're in the office, it's the office. When you go home, it's home. Right? So if you're going to fight about work in the office, you have to have the maturity to kind of swallow your pride and go have a beer afterwards, or a kombucha, or whatever. You don't drink beer. You know what I mean? And you've got to be able to put that aside, because if you can't, you're really going to struggle, because it's going to get harder before it gets easier, or whatever. And at Neat, that's what I'm so proud of, is our founding team. It's not easy, 4 big opinionated people. I'm the least in terms of success. They've all done incredible jobs. So, they've all got their opinions, and we butt heads, as any good founders should, because that's why we work together as a team. But we have this amazing ability to turn the camera off, go get away from each other for a bit, but then meet up the next day and laugh about it. And I think that is one of the core reasons I believe this company has the potential to go far. And
what do you look for in a co-founder? What's the one thing that you think that you would not work with this person unless they have this quality?
For me, this is what we're doing.
Okay.
That's it. I honestly, I've worked with really intelligent people, substantially smarter than me, better salespeople, whatever. But the one thing that I've always come to butt heads with, is when I start something, this isn't a job. This is we're making this happen, especially when you start bringing staff in, because you are responsible for those people's incomes, you're responsible for their careers. It becomes more than you. And if you're not willing to step up to the plate, even if it means I have to stop the company, I generally would. It just doesn't float for me.
Yeah, that's a good one to kind of wrap up on. But what's unique to this podcast is we're filming in a cafe. So what's your go-to drink order on a coffee break?
I live in Europe, so I like to keep it European. I'm a cortado man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
we have fancy. A cortado here, people love it.
Or if I'm going a bit extreme, which is my first 4 or 5 hours of working, get a double espresso.
That was also nice. And what's also unique is it's called Kasa Connect. So it's really for the audience and listeners to be able to connect with you, and for you to also kind of connect with them. So what's one thing you are looking from the audience and the listeners, and what's one way they can connect with you?
Yeah. Cool. I love that. It's very cool. Obviously, connect on LinkedIn, Jordan Abrahams.
Yeah.
You'll see me in all my crazy things. Looking from you guys, not to sell the product, but give us some feedback. Go buy a bag, and if you don't want to buy a bag, give me a message. I'll send you a bag. And I'd love to get your feedback on our product and how we can improve.
I mean, I'm not saying that because you're sat in front of me, but I've tried this, and I think that it's equally as good as a pack of Haribos, but makes me feel better. So this is my guilty pleasure while watching Love Island.
Guilt-free pleasure. I can imagine. You should taste the next two, because I think they're equally as good, if not better.
I will. I'm excited. And okay, last question. Need to leave them with some food for thought. What's the best piece of advice you regret not taking?
Yeah, probably when I started my string of companies when I had no idea what I was doing. Don't start a string of companies.
All at the same time.
Yeah, however, I probably would have made one to some element of a success. I have no doubt in my mind of that, because there were some interesting things we did. However, I also don't think it would have made me who I am today. And those were some really dark times as a young guy by yourself when all your friends have got jobs and can afford to go out for dinner. However, that's given me the ability to kind of not stop today. So
and be where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jordan, for coming to Kasa Connect.